Thank you, the organizer, for inviting me. So today, my talk deals with complex loading history that you can have in computational nonlinear solid mechanics. Now, this work has been done with my colleague David Néron and with two PhD students, Sébastien Rodriguez and Roland Scaff. We have two main collaborations. The first one for seismic loading with CEA and ARSN, and second one for fatigue loading with the University of Hannover. So our motivation in the case of fatigue loading is to be able to compute with a large number of cycles, it could be millions of cycles, with a refined matter model, so viscoplasticity plus fatigue damage. The final goal is to be able to predict the initiation of a macro crack in an engineering structure. For seismic loading problem, things are a little bit different. You have here a typical loading, acceleration in terms of time. So here we are in dynamics, but in slow dynamics. The duration here is 20 seconds. And if you look to the worst earthquake, which was in Chile in 1960, the duration was 60 times this one. So for seismic loading, we have very complicated loading history. Here too, we want to use refined matter model, and the final goal is to be able to predict the damage state after the seismic loading. Now, our answer to handle such complex loading history is a model order reduction approach, which is named the time multiscale Latin PGD. We have another motivation. We come from the fact that model order reduction methods today are intrusive. Consequently, the engineering diffusion is slowed down. Here, we introduce a non-intrusive version. It is a first attempt to be compatible with commercial finite software. So this version is very general, compatible with all nonlinearities that you have in the finite element commercial software. However, its performance could be less for several specific cases. Application of this non-intrusive version is in progress for the commercial finite element software SAMSEF, and that is done in close collaboration with Siemens. You have here the outline of my presentation. I will start with the signal theory, which is the basic stone for us to handle complex loading history. You will see that it is a specific reduced order model for the loading. After that, I will introduce what we propose, which is a new Latin PGD approach, multiscale in time and non-intrusive. In the part 3, I will give first illustration. I will conclude, give you some prospect. So to start, with signal theory, here we have a specific aim, which is to describe the loading, the signal, with a minimum of time shape function. Why? Because we have in mind to solve nonlinear problem. For example, yes, if one uses the wavelet theory, in the case of the seismic loading, we get approximation with a lot of terms. This number could be close to 100, and that is not suitable for us. So we have this specific aim to describe the signal with a minimum of time shape function. And for that, we propose this two-time scale approximation, where we have two kinds of time, a micro time, tau, and a macro one, t. For the macro time, we use here harmonic function, cosine and sine, the period being tau under I. In front, you have the amplitude. This is the real part, this one imaginary part. They depend on the macro time, and they will be defined thanks to a finite element framework. Between the two times, we have this inequality, which is at the center of this approximation. So to describe this approximation, we have to determine the period tau under I and the associated amplitude. To go further, let me introduce the approximation on this more compact form. N underline is a vector. We describe the harmonic part. And capital S is a finite element basis, where you recognize the finite element shape function, psi1 to psi m. Capital A underline denote the component of the amplitude on this finite element basis. Okay. So we derive the best approximation, so we minimize these quantities. And here we use, in fact, a greedy technique. So at iteration m plus 1, we compute the correction as a single term. The single term is defined by this period to underline and the amplitude capitally underlined. Here we have a remarkable property. We come from the fact that the period can be computed easily with a very good approximation by the maximization of this quantity, where capital M, which here is a mass matrix, where you recognize the finite shape function related to the macro time. For the vector underline, you have its component J here, where you see the residual compute during the last iteration multiplied by the shape function related to the node J. This quantity depends on the time, and we take the Fourier transform of this quantity. So what we do, in fact, yes, we maximize a certain norm of the Fourier transform of the residual compute during the last iteration. After that, it is easy to compute the amplitude using this relation. We have another writing putting forward the node that we have to describe, yes, the macro time. Here it is a finite element shape function related to the node J, depending on the macro time, multiplied by a sum of harmonic functions depending on the period to underline I. Now an illustration for these seismic signals, so displacement in terms of time. To get an accuracy less than 10%, we need 7 modes. So we have 7 frequency or 7 period. And you see here the different mode. The first one, the frequency is 1.6 here. You have here the amplitude for the real part and the imaginary part. And the points which are here are the nodes to describe, yes, the macro time. At the right, you have the mode written in terms of classical time. Now, when you look, yes, to the mode 5, you see that the frequency is higher. So here it is possible to use a finer macro description. And you see the corresponding modes that you have here. And at the right, you have the mode written in terms of classical time. And we compare the initial signals and its approximation. We have a rather good fit. The error is less than 8%. OK. So now, yes, we have the second part. So I will introduce what we propose, which is a new Latin PGD approach, multiscale in time, and non-intrusive. So here we are considering the equilibrium of the structure submit to prescribed displacement on the part boundary, prescribed traction on the complementary part, and we have also prescribed body force. All the quantity indexed by D are given. They are given over this time interval 0t. Here we are considering the reference discretized problem that we have in a classical finite element framework. So first we have a discretized time-space domain and approximation of the different field. So the nodal point, xj here, the time discretization, ti, where ti belongs to capital I. The fundamental quantity here are the nodal displacement vector u underline. So we are considering the displacement at the nodal point. This displacement depends on the time. And we have also the nodal force vector, F underline, depending on the time, where we are considering the forces at all the nodal points. The work is a product of these two quantities. Now, the equation that we have in a classical finite element software, the problem is to find this pair, the nodal displacement vector u underline, the nodal force vector F underline, they depend on the time belonging to capital I. The first equation is given here. We are considering quasi-static condition. So the nodal force vector F underline, depending on the time, is equal to a given forces depending on the time of the solution. That is true in a case of slow dynamics and also in a case of large displacement. But for the sake of simplicity, in my presentation, only in my presentation, I will consider that the given forces depend only on the time. The second equation is a constructed relation where the nodal forces at time t is a functional of the past history of the nodal displacement vector until time t. Now, this operator, which is here, is defined classically thanks to the contribution of the different Gauss points of the different elements. Okay, to go further, let me introduce this abstract geometrical scheme where we are considering the quantity E and F. So the solution of the equilibrium equation is described here by this line because we have a linear equation, and more, the given force depends only on the time, so we have an horizontal. The constellation, yes, is the solution to the constellation are described here by this curve because in general we have non-linear equation, and the intersection gives the exact solution. Now let me remind you that we want just to compute with complex loading history, so the given forces will depend on the time can be written like that thanks to our signal theory. That is a vector which is independent of the time. That is a scalar where we have two parts, a part which is an harmonic part depending on the macro time, the period being 200i multiplied by the amplitude we have defined thanks to a macro time and a finite element framework. Okay, so now we arrive to the construction of a reduced order model in non-linear solid mechanics. The general way that we are following here is to introduce a solver such that the problem becomes a succession of linear global problems over the time-space domain. So we have to compute a reduced order model only for linear problems. And for that, we can use one of these techniques, reduced basis, PUD, PGD, as we prefer to use the PGD. So we construct a PGD for each linear problem, and the final stage is to put all these PGD together in order to get the final reduced order model. To do that, we use the solver Latin, which is very suitable here, because it is an iterative solver where we solve alternatively the equilibrium equation and the concentration. For that, we have in yellow here the third direction, which are the parameters of the solver. So at iteration, yes, n+1, we have, yes, two stages. This one is called the linear stage. We know this point, which satisfies the constellation, and we want to construct another one, which should satisfy the equilibrium equation. For the third direction, we take here the tangent or the quasi-tangent to this manifold, so we have a kind of Newton method. And generally, after a few iterations, yes, we freeze the third direction. So associated to this third direction, we have the operator H-, which is here, and the problem that we have is linear. We will come back to it in a moment. The second stage, which is called the local stage, we know this point, and which satisfies the equilibrium equation, and we want to construct another one which should satisfy the contribution. For the third direction, what we take in the non-intrusive version, we take the vertical direction, so we don't add, yes, one more parameter. So associated to this third direction, we have the operator H+. The problem that we have here in the construction of this point is local in space variable, and then very suitable for parallel computing. Now, some remarks, yes, about the solver Latin very quickly. The first one relates to the initialization. The initialization is done considering, yes, an elastic calculation, but this elastic calculation is performed in dynamics in the case of seismic loading. Second remark, we have an easy error indicator because at each iteration we have 2 points. One we satisfy the equilibrium equation, and the second one we satisfy the constellation. So this distance characterizes the quality of the approximation. The third remark relates to the updating of the given forces in the case of slow dynamic, in the case of large displacement. So before to start the iteration n+1, we update the given forces with the approximation that we have before to start the iteration n+1. So now the given forces depend only on the time. We are ready to introduce complex loading history, and for that we'll follow, yes, this illustration, which is reinforced concrete structures subject to a seismic excitation here. For the matter model, we use this damage model coming from this paper. It is a unilateral damage model. So here, as you can see, we don't have damage in compression, and we take into account, yes, the opening and the closure of the macro crack which are behind the damage. For example, in the case of the closure of the macro crack, the rigidity remains the initial one. So for the loading, we use our signal theory. So the loading is approximate with 7 modes. So we have 7 frequency, 7 period. And now, yes, we can start, yes, our time multiscale PGD construction. Or that is done during the linear stage at iteration n+1. Let me remind you the problem. We know this point we satisfy the constellation. And here we have third direction. We can be at the beginning, the tangent or the quasi-tangent to this manifold. And we want to construct a point which satisfies the equilibrium equation. Now, what we do here, you have here the different equations. The problem is to find this pair, the nodal displacement vector, U underline n+1, the nodal force vector, F underline n+1. Here it is equilibrium equation, and that's the third direction with the operator H-. So let us go further, where we introduce the correction. So we are computing this quantity, and here you have the difference with the quantity computed during the last iteration. It happens that the correction for the forces is equal to 0 in this case, because the given forces depend only on the time, and you have to compute only the correction for the displacement. And this correction for the displacement satisfies to this equation here, where H minus is a search direction. Here you have an initial yes, residual, which is perfectly known. So this operator is symmetric. So the correction for the displacement can be seen also yes, as a solution of the Minish problem. And now when you have a look on this residual, you have here yes, a complex loading history. So to compute, yes, it is necessary to have yes, a step where we decompose yes, this residual into simple components. That is the first step of the time multiscale PGD. To do that, yes, we call it yes, the K component. So you can see here this K component, where you have here the finite element shape function related to the load I, multiplied by a periodic function, the period being tau K. This period is a period of the given loading. This term here is a vector which is independent of the time. So here we have to decompose yes, this residual in terms of K component. A word about that very quickly, yes. We extend our signal theory, where this quantity here is extended considering that the vector n underline now is associated to a periodic function. What we do is very easy to understand. We take for the periodic function the even part, the odd part, we have this normalization, so we have something which looks like what we have before with an harmonic function. That is amplitude associated to this periodic function. So we minimize this residual, and when we minimize, we obtain this problem for the amplitude and for the odd part and even part of the periodic function. We have to maximize these quantities, where you have here the mass matrix, and the bracket denotes the integral over a period. Okay. So when we see what we obtain, that is approximation, and the error that we have is less than 5%. That is the first step. You have also here, yes, the macro amplitude and the residual mode that we have, yes, for each frequency. The second step is to compute the correction for the displacement associated to the K component of the initial residual. Here we use the PGD, so we have separation between the time and the space. And for the time, we have two times, a macro time and the macro one. So you see here this correction. That is a vector which is independent of the time. Here you have the finite element shape function related to the load I, depending on the macro time, multiplied by the periodic function, which is associated to the macro time, the period being tau underline K, which is also the period of this quantity, the K component of the residual. So in this step, we have to compute this vector independent of the time and also the periodic function related to the different node, related to the macro description of the time. For that, we minimize, yes, this potential. We minimize alternatively on the time function and on the space function. When minimized on the time function, we get the nodal time cycle. And when we minimize on a space function, we get a standard finite element problem. So we have few iterations like that. And you see here the mode that we obtain at iteration m+1. Okay, I arrive to the first illustration. Let us continue with the seismic illustration here, where we are considering this reinforced concrete structure submit to a seismic excitation here. So you see the loading, approximation with 7 modes, and for the matter model, we have a damage model. A word about, yes, the characteristic of the calculation. It is research finite element software. It is interesting to see, yes, what we obtain with the classical time discretization and what we obtain, yes, with the signal theory. So we have much less degree of freedom. Now, the error in terms of the number of iterations, yes, here we need about 8 iterations to get a good answer, a good approximation. You see now, yes, the result. That is the input, is our loading, and the output, it is a displacement over this phase here. And you see also, yes, the damage. After the loading, the seismic loading, and the damage is for some parts close to 50%. So we have high damage in this case. Let us move to fatigue illustration. So for fatigue illustration, yes, things are relatively simple because we have only one period. For fatigue computation, yes, there is a vast literature. And you have here, yes, some of the paper, yes, devoted to fatigue computation. The first method is a so-called cycle jumping method, where one jump from one cycle to another, we can be quite far. So the difficulty here is to control the calculation. The second method is based on time homogenization. So it is done with the time, what is done classically with space. And here there is a difficulty for several materials because homogeneous cycle is obtained after a lot of cycles. This number could be close to 100 cycles. And the third method, which is mentioned here, is a time multiscale Latin PGD in the case of periodic loading that we have introduced several years ago. Today, we are revisiting this method with the University of Hannover, introducing damage and also some more robust calculation technique. I will show you, yes, 2 cases, one for low cycle fatigue and the second one for high cycle fatigue. So here you see the specimen. For the matter model, yes, we use the Chaboch law for viscoplasticity, and the fatigue damage model, it is the fatigue damage model of Lemaitre. Some word about the model. Here you have the state equation, the elastic part, yes, of the strain. You can see here the positive part of the stress and the negative part. So here we take into account, yes, the different behavior due to the opening and the closure of the macro crack or the macro defects, which are back to the damage. With a small coefficient, small h, characterize the compression. For state evolution law, you have a part which depends on viscoplasticity, and another part which depends on damage. Here we don't consider that the damage in terms of the number cycle, but the damage in terms of time. So the loading is for us rather simple. So we have introduced a simplification in a sense that the time interval is split into sub-intervals. We introduce for the macro description linear interpolation. And so what we do, we compute successively the different time intervals. In fact, what we do, we compute the nodal cycle at the end of the sub-interval. To be more clear, let us consider, yes, the evolution of the time. So we start with the training stages. At the end, we keep the nodal cycle. After that, we introduce the macro time element 1. Our unknown is the nodal cycle at the end of the sub-interval, but between we have interpolation, so we don't jump. We consider all the cycles that we have between these 2 cycles. So we have some iteration, and when we converge, we keep the nodal cycle 1. We introduce another, yes, macro time element 2. The unknown is also, yes, the cycle at the end of the interval. So we have interpolation between the two cycles, and when we converge, we keep the nodal cycle too. Okay. So in the case of low cycle fatigue, yes, to get the initiation, we need this number of cycles. Here, yes, the time interval has been split into 86 time elements, and you see the accuracy, which is very high. Some master curve for the most loaded point, that is the damage in terms of the number of cycles. And here you have the stress and curve for the longitudinal quantities. The blue one is the first cycle, and the red one is the last cycle, if you want the cycle close to the initiation. So you see now the number of compute cycles, 86. Now the number of PG modes that we need to compute a cycle is much less than 10. And at the end, after compression, the number of PG modes that we need to describe the solution is less than 20. In the case of high cycle fatigue, the number of cycles is higher. You see that the time interval is split into 150 time elements, and the accuracy is also very high. You have here the master curve for the most loaded point, damage in terms of the number of cycles. Here you have the two cycles. In a sense, the blue one is the first one, and the red one is the cycle obtained, yes, close to the initiation. It is clear that here, yes, plasticity or viscoplasticity are very, very small. It is well known also that in case of high cycle fatigue, such a model is not very accurate. Why? Because for high cycle fatigue, yes, defects are important. So here we are considering a two-scale damage model proposed by Lemaitre-Desmorin, which can be interpreted as the evolution of the defect as a weak inclusion. So here you have the relation between the two scales, the macro scale elasticity plus damage, micro one elasticity plus damage, and you see the relation between the two damage, phi being a material coefficient, depending on the defect. Here you have the relation between the strain, where gamma is a Shelby coefficient. So here people, generally, yes, they are computed at the macro scale, and after they use post-processing to determine the macro damage. For us, it's not a difficulty to introduce such refined damage model, yes, no problem. That was done in this paper here. And now, let me show you the result. It is a block with a central groove here. And you see here the cycle at the macro scale. So it is clear we don't have too much variation. It is for the most loaded point. Now, at the macro scale, we have large variation. And the most important curves are here. They are the master curve for the most loaded point. Here you have the damage, the macro damage in terms of the number of cycles here. And in red, you have the macro damage in terms of the number of cycles. So here you have something rather linear. And for this value, we have initiation. So for this case, we have compared, yes, we can say that the decoupled approach, yes, works, is valid in this case. But this case is a particular case because we have proportional loading. I arrive to my conclusion, where I would like to put forward, yes, two challenge equations. The first one is to consider loading with parameter. Here it is our loading, yes, thanks to our signal theory, where we have the harmonic part, where the periods are 2 underline I, and this quantity are the associated amplitude, capital A underline I. So the parameters are 2 underline I and capital A underline I. And the question now is to consider this quantity as parameters which are random. That is a very challenging question. Another one, which is in progress, is to develop, to implement the non-intrusive version of the time multiscale Latin PGD that I have showed today, and to develop, to implement it in finite element, commercial finite element software. Thank you very much for your attention.